So then what got you into firearms?
Well, that's kind of an interesting story. Mm-hmm. So my husband grew up with guns. Mm-hmm. Like my dad was a cop growing up, but my mom hated guns. So obviously there was guns. He was in SWAT and all that stuff, but we weren't ever allowed to. I don't even know where he kept them. I mean, they had to have been somewhere. I never saw them, never got to shoot them. So long story short, my husband grew up shooting, hunting, all that. Okay. And so when we met and started dating, he was big into it. And he would try to show me, you know, how to work a gun. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to hear this. I don't care. Like, I never thought I would want one.
He's mansplaining to you.
Well, we had a break-in in our house in the middle of the night when our son was 6 months old. Okay. And so I remember two things. Turn the safety off and make sure there's one in the chamber. And so the first guy came in and tried to punch my husband, and he like dodged it and grabbed the guy and took him down to the floor, and thankfully was able to like keep him locked up on the floor. He had him all tied up. Yeah. But the second guy never saw me. He was focused on them in the dark living room. This is like 2, 3 in the morning.
I've never knew this about you. This is crazy. Yeah.
Crazy, right? Yeah, so I just remembered, oh my God, turn the safety off. And then I went like this and racked one and a bullet fell out. I was like, I guess I'm good. And so I don't remember what I was saying. Apparently a lot of profanities. But I told the guy, like, don't come in the house. He froze.
Okay, so he was still outside.
He was in the entryway. Okay. So it was like the little entryway and then the living room and then the stairs was behind, like backed up onto the stairs. Uh-huh. And so, yeah, he was in the entryway. He entered the house. He was going to go get on top of my husband, who was on top of his friend. Okay. But then when he saw the gun, it was like,
Were they armed?
No.
No, really?
No.
And they just decided they were going to home invade without a firearm?
I guess. Wow. Yeah, right? Smart. They were like 20-some, like drunk college kids. And they had been, I think, burglarizing houses in the neighborhood. Because that night after the one got fingerprinted, one of them had broken into, there was a cop that lived like 2 or 3 doors down from us. And he had stolen, his prints matched the bulletproof vest and like the car prints. He stole his AR-15, the bulletproof vest. I don't know what else from the cop that was like the neighbor. Sheesh. So, yeah.
So after that, you were like, I'm all gun-ho.
Let me tell you this. They wrote us an apology note.
Who?
The burglars.
Shut the fuck.
I swear to God, I'm going to send it to you. I swear to God. Like 2 or 3 days later when we got home, or maybe it was like the next day. I don't know. Anyways, we came home. There was like a paper taped on the door. And I was like, what's this paper? Do we like not pay the bill or what? Well, we get out and it was an apology note. I swear to God, I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
Please do. Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay. So so after he saw the gun, did he just take off?
No, he froze. He wouldn't move. He was like, just froze. And I was like, get the fuck out of our house. Like, get out. He wouldn't even back up. He would not move. He was frozen. And then the other guy on the floor was like, I can hear him still in my head. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They just kept saying he was sorry. The one that was like smashed into the ground. Yeah. And then finally we got them up and got him out the house. Okay. Well, the guy who my husband like dropped to the floor, his phone popped out of his pocket, was like in our kitchen. Mm-hmm. They came back to the house and was like, hey, can I just get my phone? Like, can I just get my phone? They're literally knocking on the door asking for their cell phone. So,
wait, hold on. Okay, let me get this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this story's wild.
All right. So, okay, let's start at the beginning real quick. Okay. All right. So you're at home. You and your husband are at home.
I'm sound asleep. Okay. I have like supersonic hearing though when I'm asleep. I hear.
So you're a dolphin.
Yeah, I'm a dolphin. Okay. But I'm hearing the doorbell, or not the doorbell, the doorknob like, and then I would hear boom, like they were kicking the door. And then I'd hear the doorknob and I was like, oh my God, somebody's trying to get in our house. So I was like, hey, somebody's trying to get in the house. He's like dead asleep. Yeah. Finally, he wakes up and then you can hear boom again, like the doors and then the doorknob. And so he stood at the top of the stairs with the gun, just like pointing it down, and they're still just trying to get in. So we go down the stairs, turn on the porch light. I'm looking out the window, and he's like, oh, there's 2 of them. They see the porch light turn on, and they look at the light, and then they're still trying to get in the house. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, what? So long story short, they eventually get the door starting to open, and my husband like went to put his foot, but by that point, the door was already in motion. So he gave the gun back to me so that he could try to hold the door, but it was already too far gone. Like the door came flying open. Okay. And so that's when I backed up onto the stairs. That first guy came in straight through the door and just like tried to punch him. He dodges it, grabs the guy. And it's crazy because I think you've seen my husband before probably. He's maybe like 5'10" and like 180.
I think only in pictures.
He's not like a big, hulking man. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't get beat up. I've never seen him fight before. There's 2 dudes in our house. I don't know. So no, he like grabbed the guy's shirt, like lifted him in the air. I just remember seeing this guy in the air and I was like, what is going on? It felt like a dream. Then I remember the sound of the guy's air like knocking out when he hit the floor. Yeah, and then I was like, oh my God, second guy. And then I did the whole gun thing.
I think something activates in a man when it comes to his family. Regardless of whether his I'm going to caveat that.
In a real man.
Yeah, there are some guys who are real
man, yeah.
But I do think something activates in a guy who, when it comes to his family, where it's like you're going to do things that you otherwise may not do, or you just kind of just repressed, more or less.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was wild. But yeah, the whole time our son was upstairs, he was 6 months old in his little crib, had no idea.
Okay, all right. So now we're at the point now where they come back for the phone.
Yep, he came knocking for his phone, which obviously we didn't give to him. The cops came.
They came after or before he came back?
After.
He came back. Oh, the cops came after he came back.
So what's crazy, okay, like this is interesting. Everyone's like, oh, somebody's getting in your house, just call the police. Let me tell you this. I'm an advocate for police 100%, but they're understaffed, as you know. They don't come in the time that you wish they would most of the time. They just can't. They don't have the numbers. They were trying to get into the neighbor's house first. She was home alone, and she was terrified. So she had been calling, and then finally we called, and then it took, all that time by the time they did finally arrive. So I think if we didn't have a weapon, like what would have happened?
That's a good point.
So after that is when I was like, I'm no longer going to poo-poo this away. I hope I never have to use this, but if I do, I better know how to use it. Because what if I needed to use it and then it jammed? I would have freaked out. What would I do?
That's true.
What if it ran out of ammo? What would I do?
Because you're already one bullet short.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I would have been like, where's that bullet?
Do you remember what gun it was?
Yeah, as an HK, the USP expert.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm assuming
it was
you still...
a hand cannon, man. Yeah. Imagine little old me with that beast.
Was it in 9?
45.
45? Yeah. Okay.
That thing would have knocked some lead. That's for sure.
Yeah, you would have fun shooting that one.
You would have known that was not the right choice pretty quickly. But thankfully I didn't have to use it.
One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.